Hi guys, it's Nick. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the interior design trends that I think need to go. Okay, so if you guys are familiar with my channel, you know that I tend not to say that I hate something or that I think something's really ugly. I tend to say things like, that's not my style. And the reason I do that is because I think it's a healthier attitude towards art or design to say that something is just not for you. You know, it's not for me, but it's for somebody else. I may not like it, but that doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't love it. And I think that's just a healthier philosophy around art in general, and just having that appreciation for art and design, just to say, you know what, it's not for me, but that's okay, it's for somebody else. So I want you to keep in mind that I'm doing a video where I'm saying these are the trends that I don't personally love, that I think should probably go away. So let's keep it light and funny and not take it all too seriously. Let's get going. Okay, so the first trend that I'm seeing more and more of that I'm not personally a big fan of is double kitchen islands. So if you guys have seen these, I see them all the time in Architectural Digest or different interior design blogs and whatever, where people are putting in two separate islands in their kitchen. And here's why they do it. So apparently people now need two islands, one for prep work and one for socializing or for people to sit at. So here's why I don't like it. I feel like it breaks up the space. So it just kind of gives it this symmetry that I personally am not a big fan of. I like the idea of having one larger kitchen island that better fits the space, that you can use for prep work and for socializing. You put some bar stools there. To me, that's a much cleaner look. It looks a lot more simple. Because here's the thing. I don't understand the function of having someone chopping vegetables or preparing a meal over on one island and then having people sitting at the other island or socializing. Why not just make one larger island that's maybe a little bit wider and better fits the space in the kitchen rather than having two separate islands? You're not an Applebee's. You don't need a kitchen like you're an industrial restaurant. It's almost also the reason it bugs me, I think, is that it's just ostentatious and grand to the point of being a little bit silly. It's oh, you have one island? Well, I have two complete separate islands. It's trying to make the kitchen bigger than it even needs to be. To me, it's not particularly functional because I don't want to be sitting there chopping veggies while my friends are over sitting having a party at the other island. It breaks up the space. I don't really like this trend. And in the end, people are having smaller families and people are trying to make do with less. And I just feel like having a second kitchen is superfluous. It's too much. It's too grand. It's too big. It's too busy. It breaks up the kitchen. I don't care for it. Okay, my second trend that I'm not a big fan of is everything being open shelving all the time. So open shelving can be great to show off some beautiful ceramic plates that you bought, or just a little bit of open shelving just to maybe show off some knickknacks, or again, some ceramics or something. That can be kind of cool, that can be fun, and I quite like that look. But I don't think this is a great place to show off some of the more practical things that you might have in your kitchen, like maybe, your kids' cups or their plastic serverware for your toddler. So the thing I think that I object to the most here is when it's too much, when you have too much open shelving. I think there's a place for it, but I think I have seen some kitchens that are literally just a wall of open shelving. That looks busy, it looks dusty, it does not look functional. Where's this person's junk drawer gonna be? Where are you putting your tinfoil and all the crap that you wanna hide if you just have everything being open shelving? It's not particularly functional, I think, to have that much open shelving, because the reality is 80 to 90% of the stuff in your kitchen you probably wanna hide. So personally, I just think doing all open shelving is not a good idea. I think it's just gonna catch a bunch of dust. You're gonna be up there all the time cleaning all your stuff. I don't have time for that. I don't have the patience for it, and I don't think you do either. So a little bit of open shelving, great, but I think a lot of open shelving is just riding that trend a little bit too hard. Okay, my third trend, I guess it's not really a trend so much as it is just a design thing that we need to leave way in the past, is just really puffy, clunky furniture. So particularly I want to talk about chairs, I want to talk about sofas. You don't need a big giant lever recliner for your chair. You don't need plastic cup holders built into your chair. You don't need your sofa to have those really big, fluffy, poofy, chunky armrests and backrests. I get that it seems like it's functional, but there are good quality sofas and sectionals that are beautiful and just as functional, and they will just fit your space a lot more. And yes, I'm all for function, but there are limits, and I just think some of this stuff is just incredibly ugly. So I just think we need to leave some of that stuff in the past, and in my opinion, move forward with something that's a higher quality material, that's gonna have lots of beautiful padding, and it's gonna be very comfortable, and it's gonna be functional for your your space, but it's also gonna be aesthetically pleasing. So I'm personally really sick of these marshmallow sofas. Can we please get rid of them and move on? And here's the thing, you're probably only gonna have maybe one, maybe two sofas in your space, and there are so many gorgeous sofas. Just look at my channel. I'd recommend like a new one every week or 10 a week. Like I have so many sofas I want to buy and not enough space to put them. Why put a marshmallow sofa in a space for a focal point when you have an opportunity to do something really, really cool? There's so many amazing sofas that I featured on my channel that are out there. Focus on those ones and leave the marshmallow behind. Okay, my next trend, and this one's controversial. I know I'm gonna hear about this one. Let's talk about the all gray and all white everything. Now, okay, I personally think, because I have a video on neutrals, so I understand that neutrals are timeless generally. I've got some controversy on that as well, but I do believe that neutrals do tend to not go out of date the same way that a lot of colors can tend to kind of ebb and flow depending on the trends of the moment. But I do think the all white kitchen and the all gray kitchen, I'm not saying they're bad, and I'm not saying if you have one you need to get rid of them. I'm saying they are quite beautiful and they can be really classic, but I love the idea that we're moving forward with new colors being introduced as well. So there was a point where just every kitchen was all white. Every living room was just gray, gray, gray. And I'm not saying that that gray living room is necessarily bad. I'm not saying a white kitchen is necessarily bad, but I am saying it's nice to see some variety. So this is not a trend that I want to see like completely die, but I'm loving the trend of introducing a little bit more color and just more variety. Let's just mix it up. Like it doesn't have to be, I feel like every designer in the last 5 years just walked into a kitchen was like, yeah, I'm thinking Chantilly lace and white cabinets and some maybe Carrara marble. Let's do this. And it's like, well, you know, that has a place, but maybe let's kind of explore some other things as well. So I'm hoping to see that in the future a little bit more so we can leave behind this all white, all gray everything. Okay, next trend I hope that we kind of leave behind is, I'm gonna call it Farmhouse Kitsch. Now, so Farmhouse people, don't come after me. I don't actually really like hate on Farmhouse. I know it's kind of popular to just hate on Farmhouse all the time, but I call this Farmhouse Kitsch because to me, there is a certain leaning into the farmhouse look that is a little bit, in my opinion, kind of maybe tacky. So I'm thinking like you've got a big farmhouse sign that says bless this mess or live, laugh, love or whatever. Just because it's rhymes or it's an alliteration does not make it okay. And to me, these are just a little bit corny, a little bit cheesy, and like just, yeah, I know you can grab them at Ross or Winners or HomeSense or wherever you are, but I just don't think that they're really, yeah. If you love Farmhouse, explore leaning into some of the more traditional or some of the more functional and beautiful aspects of Farmhouse. I'm thinking like a farmhouse sink, or you can do, what else do I like about Farmhouse? So yeah, apron sink, butcher block countertops. These things are cool, like great, awesome. Like that looks like a farmhouse. But when you need the word kitchen over top of your kitchen and you live in an 800 square foot condo or an apartment, maybe you don't need a sign to direct what rooms you're in when you're in them. Like, no, like, so you don't need kind of all those like old fashioned milk bottles everywhere to show, like scream, this is a farmhouse. You don't need some of those old like barn architectural details that serve absolutely no functional purpose in your space. They're just there to look like you've got these sort of little details that are around all your beams or whatever. It's just a little bit, it's too much. Like just, you know, get rid of some of that stuff and just kind of let a farmhouse be a farmhouse if that's your aesthetic. I really think the farmhouse is going through a change here. I think it's either going to go a little bit more rustic or it's going to go a little bit more contemporary, but I think the whole Farmhouse Kitsch thing is just a little bit over, time to move past it. Okay, another trend that I hope to see the end of is like marble laminate. So like the fake marble stuff. So you guys know, if you've seen my video on timeless design, I tend to favor things that are more natural because I think they're more likely to stand the test of time than sort of fake things that are designed to replicate a natural material. So marble is very expensive, right? Like let's get that out of the way. And so what people will do is they'll put in things like a laminate that look like marble. So I have a couple of exceptions. One would be quartz. Another one would be something like a really high quality luxury vinyl plank that are designed to replicate a real wood or a real marble product, but they have some durability advantages and some cost advantages, and they look so good that they're really, really good at faking the real thing. But things like laminate that is being made to look like marble is not gonna fool anyone. So I just think it's better off that if you can get the real stuff, go for it. No, I'm not such a snob that's like, oh, you don't have marble, like, you can't afford it. No, if you can't afford it, fine. Then get something that is going to be cheaper, that is going to be within your budget, but is still going to look what it's meant to look like, right? So get laminate if you can afford laminate, but don't think you're fooling anybody by faking marble. No one's going to think you have marble countertops when it's made out of a veneer or a wood product. I'm sorry, it's just not happening. Get something like butcher block. Butcher block is beautiful. You know, you can totally rock that look, and it's going to be a hell of a lot cheaper than marble, and it's not trying to fake or be something that it's not. I hope we all kind of had a little bit of fun today, and don't take anything too seriously. I'm sorry if you disagree with my opinions, please don't be offended. And if you liked this video, you might like the trends that I really do like for 2021. And I'm going to link that video right here, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks. Bye.